Hello YouTube, Moose Cow here, back with another customization video. This time I'm going to talk about my task force marker box. So, if you're unfamiliar with task force markers, let me just kind of go over them really briefly. You have this piece, these are HBGs, historical board gamings. You have this piece on the map and this piece off the map, and the units that you have on this are represented by this, right? So you can just move this piece around on the map and you don't have to worry about moving tons and tons of little pieces and worrying about knocking them over or whatever. And you know, it saves time, it saves space. They're very helpful to have. You don't have to have them, but they are very helpful, especially in those cramped territories, you know. So I like to use them because of that and have everything neat to look at. Again, these are historical board gamings, and I had gotten these, but very quickly wanted to come up with my own. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And the reason I wanted to come up with my own is I got these, and they're cool and all. You know, you got this on the board, and that corresponds to this image. Of course, on this roundel corresponds to this task force marker, right? This task force. But the images on both these task force markers are the task forces. They're the same. Just the same German stock photo on both of them. So all of HBG's German task force sheets, they all look like this, you know. So I'm not a super big fan of that personally. But HBG has so many cool roundel options that inspired me to just kind of make my own, especially after they made these task force marker rings a while back. So these are super cool. I'm a big fan of these. So essentially, you just take one of these markers. It's a sheet of unfinished wood. These are what I came up with. It's a sheet of unfinished wood. This is 4 inches by 4 inches, I believe, and then this is I think 2.5 by 3 inches, give or take, or 3.5, 2 inches, 2.5 by 3.5, something like that. Something like that. Anyway, so I got 12 of these. 4 of these, that's usually more than enough. And you take these roundels here are all magnetized. You take one of these off, and it's like a 10 millimeter by 1 millimeter magnet. You just stick it in the corner right there. Won't move, doesn't get in the way. And then you have that off the side. And if for some reason the SS made it to Hawaii, well, by golly, they're in Hawaii. Right? Anyway, a German player can dream. But anyway, so I have these, and most of the time with these markers, I don't have them stay in my box. I usually have these markers you got a ton of different options. I really like this Africa Core one. Usually I just keep these in their respective powers boxes, like in here, say, and then the player just picks them out when they need them. I almost never use these guys because usually you're supposed to put like a unit on them, and I feel like that unit, if you're focusing on this unit might get, this unit might just get forgotten or something like that, right? So I never use these ones. I much prefer the rings. The box itself is, as with my typical style, is a cigar box, and I've had this just kind of sitting around for a number of years and got the idea to repurpose it for this. On the bottom of the task force markers, as well as the bottom of the box, there is some felt, and it's the same felt. I asked Joe, G.I. Joe, he made me this awesome battleboard box, and I asked him what the felt was that he used on the bottom, and he let me know, and I ordered some, and that way it's the same felt on the bottom of these and the bottom of the box, so it all matches. And because it's unfinished, it actually does feel like it's a legit BBR component, because it pretty much matches with the map, or is at least close enough. And again, this is unfinished. You don't have to paint them. I just didn't really want to. I like to avoid painting whenever possible. But you, of course, could paint them if you want. I think I got like a pack of I think when I bought these, they were in like a pack of like 30 or so. So I had a bunch of spares. And when I brought these to BBR St. Louis 2, Chaplin saw them and was like, "This is genius." He loved these immensely. And I mentioned I had a bunch of extra spares that I could make, whatever. And he offered to buy a few off of me. So I sold him the 4 big ones that I had, and I sold him like 8 or 10 of these small ones, give or take. I did screw up with these ones originally when I ordered these, and they were actually way too thin. I wanted them initially to match. Let's see, can you focus on that? Yeah. So I wanted these to match originally, but when I ordered them, they were way too thin. So this is actually 3 sheets of wood glued together. So I just put a bunch of glue, glued them together. Used my guillotine to cut and make this make it as straight as possible. So yeah, and then the bottom of the box itself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and yeah. So kind of backing up to here, we have. I came up with the idea of putting, with my cigar box income trackers. A little bit of glare right there, right? With my cigar box income trackers, you have Ferrous sheets on the back underneath the income tracker, and so this is these are strips of Ferrous material, which isn't magnetic, but it's something that magnets adhere to really, really well. And I got to just have it organized by like Axis allies, obviously Germany, Japan, Italy. I got the Axis miners. I like to have the Axis miners represented by themselves. And then we have Spain, national Spain, and also Portugal, because Madman and I, the way we have it, Portugal can kind of get activated along with Spain for our personal house rule. A good reason to get some Portugal roundels. And then over here we have Soviet Union, United States, one for China, UK, and then we have Commonwealth, and one for France, and then we have one for Republican Spain as well. And the Portugal one can also work with that one as well. So that Portugal can go either way, but I'll just put it over there for the time being. Anyway, and then yeah, just got all these different. You have all these different roundel options, which I think are pretty cool. And some of them, the HBG, like they're just really cool. Like I really like this black shirts one for Italy. I'm a big fan of skulls. I think that's cool. I'm a sucker for skulls. And then we got Bulgaria can go. Italy can align Bulgaria. So I give that to them too. And then I like having the different roundel options to represent Russia. And again, this is all just visual flair. You don't have to have all of these. You just get what you want. And these are the rust colored rings. They have different ring color options, and some of them, you kind of have to just get close enough, more or less. But I like having, the sickle and hammer option. I like having the Order of the Red Baron option, or not Red Baron, Order of the Red Banner option. And then this guy, pretty cool, So yeah, just get tons of different options. And this one I find is really helpful. This is for China. People don't like to chip China, so if you want to have that Chinese horde on the represented without chipping them, this is a really cool way to do it. I really like this one a lot. This is just the yellow roundel, which is the same as the National Spain roundel, but they'll never be remotely close to each other, and it works with both. Overall it works with both units. It kind of blends in pretty nicely. This is not a harsh yellow, so it looks kind of like yellow green. So it works with the Chinese pieces if you don't want to paint them pretty well. Anyway, I also really like having the UK Far East Command roundel. I really like using this UK one. The French one. I wish there were more cool French options. Most French ones aren't that great, but the French flag, it's like this. The French flag one, just for that initial attack against Paris, saves a lot of space to use a little task force marker for France for that G1 attack. So this is really cool to have. I really like that a lot. Brazil can go both, is pro-allied, so it can go to any country. So, I mean, you get like a set of 5 of these, and I used 4 of them. I used one for US, one for Commonwealth, one for UK, and then the 4th one for the magnet itself, So that's cool, right? Oop, focus. Yeah. So, I'm having some glare issues. Let's see. Glare. That's not bad. Okay. So, anyway, yeah. So, that pretty much covers my task force marker set. Smoking snakes, pretty cool. And we have a lot of different Commonwealth options. It's a good way to use the original out-of-box Anzac, reuse that, find some purpose for a couple of them, you know. South Africa, you know, it's got a bunch of different options. Dang, focus issues. Focus. Okay, cool. Yeah, a bunch of different options, and I really enjoy this customization of mine. Also, really enjoy the Kriegsmarine roundel. Yeah, really cool customization of mine. I enjoy this a lot. I use this in all my games, pretty much. And if you want to make your own, I'll put some links in the video description to where I got the wood and the material. I think I got the wood I got off Amazon. This material, the Ferrous sheets, strips, I probably got off Amazon as well. So I will put those links in the video description, as well as the felt. And yeah, if you want to go ahead and make yourself a Task Force marker box, now you know how to do it. And as always, roll the dice better.